This vlog is super art heavy and I'm loving it. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today is another thrifting video. However, I'm gonna start this one off a little bit different. One, we're not in my car, per usual, because today is more of a intentional thrifting video, and I have a lot of goals that I'm looking for very specific items actually, and I wanted to go through with you what I'm looking for first before we just kind of run out the door and kind of go for it like out of the blue. So today's thrift adventure is actually going to be me sourcing products for the Curious Aesthetic in upcoming market seasons. It's currently mid-February and I'm already thinking about spring and summer, and I want items that are very, I guess you can say, on trend. But hear me out, because I have a whole different idea and mindset in the way that I go about these things. So here, let's get into it. Last night I spent a little bit time online doing some research and finding out what is new and upcoming for spring summer 2024, and I gotta say I was so excited that all of these romantic English floral ideas are all coming back, or they're coming into trend style. I think personally it's a timeless style that I love, and I'm trying to really incorporate more into our home, my everyday life, and knowing that this is gonna be the style, trend, intention that we're gonna see a lot in main consumer stores such as like Target. It's amazing. So I'm really gonna hone in and just go bananas about it because I love it. What am I talking about? English romance, of course. So what are the main components that we're talking about in terms of decor style trends, with elegant cottage, modern romantic English? We're talking a lot of florals. Hear me out. I have these gorgeous roses that Max bought for me for Valentine's Day. But anything that is like English rose, florals, anything that is kind of like this. I think these are 1960s Italian candlestick holders. American traditional, English traditional. You have this notion of like Belle Epoque. If we're talking about specific art movements, there's Belle Epoque, Art Nouveau. I'll even say like a little hint of 1930s Art Deco. I don't think it's going to go into 1940s modernism or anything like that, but we're talking about Matisse. Think John Waterhouse. He did that famous Ophelia painting, if you're unfamiliar with his stuff. Anything that is, yeah, like beautiful, like mid to late 1800s, early 1900s, like English romance films, Jane Austen, all the way. That's all I gotta say. So how do I know that this is gonna be a hot thing? Well, I did something I don't usually do, and that is going online to like Target.com. I went through Anthropology.com, Williams Sonoma, West Elm, CB2, and what's the other one? There's another good one. Pottery Barn. There we go. And honestly, it was like these florals are back. This color's back. Sage green is in. You have this notion of like bringing the outdoors in, and very English garden, Victorian garden style and design. And that's what I was seeing online consistently across the board with all of these online retailers. Now, I love that this style is coming in because it's very in alignment with what I like. However, I'm always not fond of mass consumerism. So this is where I feel like vintage is just going to shine. So I would rather pay for a vintage piece, maybe a few bucks more, most likely less if you're buying from me. Shameless plug. Or you can just buy a good piece of vintage that you're saving something from a landfill, right? Like we have all of these we can go on and on about the environmental impact of that, but just knowing that all of these antique and vintage pieces are coming into trend. I did mention that today is going to be a sourcing video, predominantly sourcing for my shop. I'm going to add that in there. However, I will say if there is something that I find that it's from my list, I have an actual list. Again, if I find something that I can't be without and it's from my list, it has to be on my list, then it can be and stay with me in our house. However, I'm really looking forward for pieces that I can offer to you guys, and also style up and have available for purchase online as well as in-store markets. So what am I looking for today? One of the main things that I always seem to have and I always look for my markets are cocktail glasses. I love a good cocktail glass. In fact, I just grabbed ours from our bar behind me. I love a good cocktail glass, and this is for a rocks glass. I put like margaritas in there. I think cocktail glasses are the most easy way and entry level to start collecting for vintage pieces, and they're very unanimous across genders, as well as you don't have like size, you don't have to worry about sizing or anything like that. And who doesn't love a good cocktail glass, right? You can have it for like your champagne, cocktails, margaritas, or you can have it for mocktails and spirit free, which I love to do as well. I'm also looking for vases. Again, going back to that English garden obsession that is like everywhere. I see it at Studio McGee, at Target. I see it. Anthropology is going nuts over it. I love it. I am here for it. And I love vases. So one thing that Max and I absolutely love about our house is that we love the light, and we love to have fresh flowers. I tend to get fresh flowers every 2 weeks. I just go to some place and spend maybe $10-15 on some, and I tend to get flowers that will last a little bit longer, like depending on their shelf life. And I just kind of like pick the ones out that are dead, and then I just replace them. But I love a good vase, and as you can see, I have a sad empty vase right here. That's wrong. It's also a huge vase. It's probably about 1.5 feet tall. You can't tell quite now because I'm close to you guys, and that's back there. So I will be probably putting some faux for Cynthia, I think it's called. Anyways, those branches with like the little yellow leaves, if you know what I'm talking about, those will go there, and I'll get faux ones so that I can change them out, and I will have them for next spring. But a good vase is always something that I love, and I think you will too. They happen to be one of my best sellers as well, just because, again, of how you can change out what goes in the vase throughout the year, and you're not committed to just something that is seasonal that you have to put away. And I love things that are like evergreen that I can leave out all year, or just kind of change up in different rooms. So vases are another thing that I'm certainly, I have them high up on the list. Again, keeping up with the English romance theme that I'm seeing everywhere is florals. So I went down a little path. It wasn't a rabbit hole, I swear, because I stayed off of Instagram. I found 2 forthcoming trends for fashion that I wouldn't think of, because I see it and I do it almost every day anyways. Metallics and roses. Imagine that. Flowers. Again, we have this English romantic traditional home and style ideas that are kind of going through everything, and I love how it's being threaded through all of these areas of our life. So from time to time, I see what I would call so pretty they're ugly floral sweaters. Those sweaters that have like flower designs, and they're kind of garish, but they're so garish they're pretty. Those are what I'm going to be looking for. And I'm going to call them garden sweaters, because honestly, I envision myself in the springtime wearing my straw hat, taking my little gardening tool bag, digging in the dirt, wearing this ridiculous like over the top floral sweater and shorts and just living my best life. I said it. I'm going to be that person. I'm going to be that person this year. I'm going to be that gardening person. So yes, that is what I'm mainly looking for. And of course, like a good candlestick holder, any kind of lights, any of those like smaller chinoiserie planters. You guys love those. I don't even put most of them on the website for sale because they sell almost immediately at markets. So that is what I'm looking for today. Of course, there's a couple things that will be tossed in there, but those are the mains that I'm looking for. And I gotta say, I'm really excited about this trend, guys. Like, I'm ready to complete our home. We definitely need all kinds of art on the walls. It's amazing. You're in a place for over 3 years now, and we only have a few pieces of art. And that's something that I'm bummed that I never really collected before. I didn't have a lot of space just to hold it in the first place. And a home takes a long time to collect things for. Like, you can go out to Target, you can go out to multiple places, and yes, you can get these pieces, but if you want something that is original and just collected feeling, that feeling of items in a place that had previous lives and adventures before they came to live with you, it takes a very long time to do this, to create this feeling. We've done a really great job of doing this a lot actually in the past 3 months here in our home, and I'm just starting now to finally show you because I feel confident that things actually look put together. I've been saying this for years, you know, and I feel like it's finally happening. We're finally having our home just kind of come together, and it's such a good feeling, but there's still some things and pieces that you miss because you're staring at like empty vases for 3 days, and you just don't realize it, right? And I think that's really part of the fun that I'm having, sharing things with you guys here on YouTube, is that it's a kick in the butt for me to like get going and find things and just be more, I don't know if you can say like assertive maybe about it. Like, anyways, I have a whole other list of things that I'm looking for my house that of course are on my list. And yeah, I think this is gonna be a good time to go thrifting, and let's just go. Let's go. We're done talking. We're gonna go and do it now because it's like 8:37 in the morning and the thrift opens at 9. So we need to get our bums out the door. Let's go. It is way colder outside than I judged it to be. Yeah, this will be interesting, but it's a beautiful day. It's a little blustery. The clouds are going in and out, and I almost said it was a beautiful spring day, but it is mid-February, and my mind is just not there. Auku and I were out in the backyard already, and we have some of our daylilies are already sprouting and coming up, in addition to our irises, and they're like 2 months early, which is bananas. Hopefully the weather will be okay for them and they won't just die, because I'm ready for it. This is also the year of the locust, the double locust here in the Midwest, and I'm not ready for that. In fact, I've never seen them before, so I will be in for quite an experience, I think, as so I'm told. Anyways, enough chatting. We have our list. Let's go thrift. Well, this is the first haul of the day. I have 2 stands. I have really cute little chinoiserie planters that these are going to look fantastic on. I have another stand. The frame can go on the stand. But I love these to add to my market displays, just to hold things upright. And then, of course, a beautiful frame. Nice and basic. $2, which would be perfect. I'm working on a gallery wall at home in the living room, so I think that would be a nice addition. Something I completely forgot about, but I'm kind of glad that it happens, but it kind of inconveniences me. A lot of these places now don't have bags, so I am rolling without a bag, and I'm on to the second spot now. The first spot obviously was a Goodwill, and that one is great for housewares. Every location has their own thing that they're best at, or as far as like I have such good luck at, and this one was really good for homewares, which of course, as you saw, I scored. And now we're on to another place, and this is a whole different chain. It's not a Goodwill, it's a Savers. I'm not sure if you guys have one near you. And this one I used to come to all the time. This was really, really good. And you know, it's funny. So I just realized that there are 3 men standing outside of the door because we're a little bit early. We've got about 7-8 minutes until they open up. And I just saw them at the Goodwill not too far down the street, which makes sense. This is really funny. And now I'm parked like right in front and they're staring at me as I talk to my phone. Isn't that great? So anyways, we are continuing the search right now. I think we're gonna go look for homewares again. This place also typically has really good furniture, so I'm secretly hoping I will find a dresser that I can later refurbish for our coffee and beverage station in the kitchen. I'm really dying to get that going, or some sort of like table that I can switch things up on. Anyways, it's a whole process. I'm secretly hoping I do find something for it, but honestly, I don't have Max's car, and so I'm just in my little one, and it doesn't have a whole lot of space. There's some space, but certainly not enough to carry a dresser, so if I find something, I might have to rent a van, which I'd be okay with. It's totally fine. But yeah, it's a great space, so I will try and film as much as I can inside. Of course, I will always be respectful of people's privacy, and we'll see if we find anything good. And here is that portrait painting thing that I was telling you about. So I absolutely love flowers, obviously, but I love the orange, and that's here. And these look like oriental poppies, and then the other ones, they almost look like, I'm gonna say foxglove, but I'm not familiar with them being that color. I'm not saying they're not that color. I haven't seen like a color of foxglove. They could also be delphinium, which I do have electric blue color delphinium in the garden, and they're coming up this year. I'm so excited. But yeah, no, I thought what a beautiful color combo, and I really, really want to put it up here in our bedroom to cover that spot where we just like rubbed against the wall, and the walls are white, they're matte, you know, they get used. We use this thing. But behind our bed is actually this beautiful charcoal gray, and I really, really like how these blue flowers and like there's muted tones in here in this picture, and I thought it would really, really work well together. I did want to clarify, this is not an oil painting. It's actually like a cardboard. It's a mass production piece, probably from the 70s. These kinds of prints back then were very popular. Of course, they're meant to like emulate an oil painting. And you know what? Even if I get tired of the picture, I really like the frame, and it's a good size frame, and it's in super good condition, so I think it's going to work really, really well. So I am going to hang it up there, and we'll see how it looks in the end. And I'm also going to give the room a bit of a tidy because it's a bit messy. And there it is, guys. Gosh, it looks so small on camera. Let me see if I can make it wider. Whoops. There we go. That's a little better. The picture frame is about 2.5 feet tall by, I would say, maybe like 2 3/4. Not full, like 3 feet horizontally, but probably pretty close. I absolutely love this. Oh my gosh. And it pairs so well with the color of the wall. Like, my gosh, it looks so good. Yay, I'm happy. So we are outside now, and I'm thinking I was going to show you what I have plans for this year with a little bit of a current thing going on in the garden, as well as give you an update, and I'm just kind of let you know like my plans, because they're quite big this year for the patio. I'm expanding it into a seating area. We're gonna have like an official little like cooking, smoking station, and then of course we're gonna add more plants for like perennials for like privacy, and I've got seeds headed over, and then I also have some tubers, specifically a bunch of black dahlias. So anyways, I figured I would show you guys what I've been up to for the past couple of weeks. Right now you come out of our dining room and straight, well, our fire pit's not going to be here. There's like a little stone walkway, like a little landing, and then it goes just out into the garden. It's pretty sad right now, but this is all going to be enclosed with more pea gravel. So currently we don't really have a whole bunch of space over here, as you can see, and it's just like a really weird like dent almost. So what I'm gonna do is I'm moving all of these stones a little bit more inward, and we're gonna have a very narrow little walking path over here. There's gonna be more like grown vegetation to add additional privacy along this fence line, and I'm going to pick up this little cluster of flagstone over here, and I'm going to extend it and just kind of like border over here with the garden. This is going to be nice and clean, straight line, and then it's going to kind of like come out here just a tiny bit where I think that's a narcissus. So it's going to be like a little bloop right here that mirrors where this bayberry bush is, and then I'm gonna have just straight across nice and clean brickwork. So this is all going to be covered in with pea gravel. There's not going to be a really big separation, and this is just going to be a really nice little sitting area. Now we do have full sun in our backyard. Our backyard is pretty much complete sun. This little tree here doesn't offer us very much shade, so we're at the mercy of the back part of our home just after the sun kind of comes over, and shades everything probably around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in the middle of June. And then, so we have umbrella stands, and we have multiple umbrellas that we kind of like get to move around as need be, just so that we have shade, because shade is essential right now. So this is all coming up, or I'm going to flatten it, lay down landscape fabric, put the bricks and stones where I want them to denote the seating area, and then I'm going to fill everything in with gravel. And so, yeah, as you can see, the grass is starting to green up. We have all kinds of daylilies that are about to bloom over here. This is an area, the back part of the yard, that I just have not really touched. We had grand plans to put like our fire pit typically does go here in the summertime because it's too hot to use, and then when it's cold we bring it closer to the house. So the fire pit will go back out here. We had plans to expand this and make it larger. We do have plans to build a screen house in this area. And then of course here is where the mega cut flower garden is going to be this year. And right now Alku is just manning the area, keeping it clean from all the evil bunnies and whatnot that she thinks come in our yard. So yeah, a lot of these things I want to get done, and I have to get done soon. One of the biggest issues that we've had is this one right here. She starts digging up through the pea gravel, and then she'll start picking up all of the landscape fabric. So that's why you see it's all come up, and honestly it's terrible. We've tried pretty much everything to completely deter her from ripping it up. We give her fancy chewies outside. We always engage her with playtime, and she always tends to just go right back to this landscape fabric and just rip it up. So that's been a huge challenge, and I'm thinking, you know, last year we just let it go. It was her first full summer with us, actually her second full summer with us, but she was still a puppy, and I said, don't, just let it go. She'll grow out of it. Well, she really hasn't that much, but she's gotten a lot better. So this year I think will be the first year that we are able to completely just redo this patio space, and just add more pea gravel. I'm gonna have to buy in bulk, because I think this, what we have down so far, is about, I think it was like 87 bags, and I moved them all myself. If you've ever picked up one of these bags, they're about, I think it was like 35 pounds, maybe 45, I forget. But when you have to move them from the pallet at the store into the cart, and then the cart to the trunk, and then to the trunk to the backyard or the dining room, and then like finally put them in the space, I think I calculated up to be like over 4,000 pounds that I moved in one day, all by myself. That was a workout. So I'm just trying to mentally gear myself up for moving all that weight again, hopefully sooner than later, and maybe I can grab Max and see if he can help me out with this time. Or I'll have a neighborhood party and say, hey, I'll cook for you if y'all want to come down and move some bags. Hello guys, welcome back. Yeah, it is a new day, and I am already up and I've got my workout in. So it is Sunday. Technically it is Easter Sunday, and no rest for the wicked, because I've already been up and about doing all these DIY things, organizing the house, and kind of like getting all these little like cleaning at home tidbits kind of checked off the list. We are not hosting today, but we are going over to Max's parents' house, who are graciously having us for dinner. And I think it's just going to be the immediates of us. So it's not going to be a big celebration or hoopla. It's a food holiday anyways for our family, so we don't have any formal plans on Easter. And yeah, I realized that I have been hanging up pictures, and I've been going through and finally hanging up some pieces of art that I recently picked up, and I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't show you guys what I found in the past couple weeks. So before I go on, I wanted to pause my little tasks and I wanted to show you what I got first, because I realized that I've already hung up the poppy, and we're gonna call them, I don't know, I think they're delphinium. They're purple. Anyways, you saw me hang up the poppy and delphinium photo in, or painting, whatever piece of art, in our bedroom, and I have been already eyeing up additional pieces of art where I want to put them, and then I realized, oh no, before I start putting everything up in the house, I really wanted to show you what I got first. And then maybe you'll understand like why I'm putting things in certain areas and why I got them. And fun fact, there are two pieces of art that I really, really love that I purchased for this dressing room, and honestly, they just don't go. They don't go. But they do go really well in our dining room, and that's where they're gonna go. So anyways, let me get on with it. Let me show you some of the really cool stuff that I found. So of course I have my favorite thrift store, and yes, it has disappointed, but it didn't disappoint me yesterday, and this is why. I found this gorgeous little like library table lamp. I do believe it is vintage. I don't think it's a replica, just because of the look of the cord. Yeah, the prongs seem a little bit older. Is there a copyright date on here? Sometimes they have copyright. I don't see a copyright date. But anyways, I thought it was really, really pretty. It just comes with like a tiniest little bulb here. But word to the wise, I have not plugged this in and tried it, excuse me, yet. And it was like the cord was all like wound up here. And I should have looked, because look. So I know it's electrical tape, I get it, but one thing about me is I am absolutely terrified to deal with electricity. It is the one thing that I will not deal with. I won't hang I'll change a bulb, but I'm not going to change out a light fixture. I'm not going to hang a fan. I was you want to call it electrocuted? I was zapped hardcore with 240 volts when I was 11, helping my dad install our upstairs electricity when we expanded the upper level of our house, and it was quite terrifying, if you can imagine. So I had a really terrifying experience with electricity at a young age, and yes, it's carried over into my adult life. I'm not horribly traumatized, but it is one thing that is a non-negotiable, and I am not touching or playing even with this. So yeah, I have this. I don't know if it works. It's not the first time I've done something like this. Probably won't be my last, but it was certainly a lesson, a reminder to make sure that you unwind things while you're still at the store before you purchase it, because all sales non-refundable. I digress. Another really cool little piece that I found is this ashtray, and it says Astro Motels Space Age Luxury. I do believe this is from like the late 60s, early 70s. It's older. It's got this really cool like ribbing on the sides, and yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep this or not. We really love space and stars and galactic things at our house, so this is a really cool piece of Americana that I really, really liked, and I'm really glad I found it. This next piece is really, really fun. So there is a company, Daher, D-A-H-E-R, and they specialize in tins that are super decorative and very colorful. And it seems like this time every year I always find a piece of Daher tins. They are made in England, but I love the color scheme. Just wait till you see this. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. Of course, florals. But it's very functional. I'd almost say it's like a tea tin. Like I'd use it for storage. It's a little rusted. It's seen some probably epic kitchens. You can see here and here. But yeah, Daher made in England, which is really fun. And I love how colorful these tins are, and it doesn't stick or anything, which is really, really nice. But it has all these beautiful, they're almost like dahlias, or I think they're dahlias. We'll call them dahlias. But there's orange, there's like a beautiful mauve pink, there's blue, and there's like this gorgeous burgundy. It looks like brown, and you can think of it as almost like a cherry wood brown, I guess, or like a rich warm cocoa, but I think it's burgundy red. That's just me. Another really cool piece that I found, I've never found before in real life. So I love flowers and I love paintings, but I've never seen a little miniature one. How cute is that? I love it. It's all vintage frame, and it is an oil painting. Let me see if I can try and get that glare for you to see. There you go. There's glare, so how it like the varnish is on the back side, and then you have it's very, very textured in the front. Let's see here. Come on, focus. Focus, focus, focus. Anyways, or you can do like what I did as well and flip it over where it says hand painted in Spain. Imagine that. So this is a really cool piece. Typically a lot of street artists in Europe, I'm sure you've seen like pictures of them in France, in Paris along the boulevards and everything. Artists will set up shop, and then they'll paint, and they'll have like little stands, and you can purchase directly from the artist. And Anvalls, Anvalls, Anvalls. I'm not sure how to say it correctly, but yeah, somebody purchased it at some point in Spain and brought it back, and I thought it was so pretty. Like, I love the colors. This is a little bit more of a coral pink, and then you have, again, this beautiful like burgundy maroon color, and then you have like a beautiful pale yellow, and this is all on a beautiful, gorgeous, like blue gray background. Like, I really, really, really like these colors. It's beautiful. Like, I think it'd be gorgeous, obviously as part of a gallery wall, but what a wonderful way to bring in just like a hint of color somewhere. It'd look great in a bathroom. It'd go great in a hallway, maybe like a little foyer, or even on a stand, like a photo art stand on your desk, maybe at work. I'm not sure. Amazing piece. I've never found one before, and I'm so glad that I did. And finally, I found something that I've been on the hunt for since Max and I got married. Yeah, long time, right? Not that long. Anyways, so if you remember, in the last vlog, there was, I was putting together a Valentine's Day present for Max where I was framing his Miley Lay that he got married in. I totally winged the DIY project, and I knew it probably wouldn't work, but I tried it anyway because it was fun and I wanted something to do that day. Well, anyways, in that DIY, I attempted to press a already dried out Miley Lay into a photo frame that was not a shadow box. So it was a little tight against the backing of the frame, and I just don't think there was that much support, because this is what happened. Yeah, it completely just tore apart. Like, I knew this was gonna happen, and I really wanted to try a couple things anyways, but you can see how it just kind of fell over, and there's the lay, and it really needs to be just in a dish or something. So at this point, it really needs to be in some sort of container with a lid, just so that it's safe and out of the way. And I've been honestly looking for something like that for almost 3.5 years by now. Well, I finally found it. Again, holy smokes, super lucky and fortunate. Ouch. And here it is. This is exactly what I was looking for. I would have been happy if it had like a little bit of etching on it or something, but I'm really pleased with it. It's perfect size. I think the lay will be really nice, just kind of like coiled up and protected and safe. And then it has like the full enclosure lid on top, and it'll be perfect. We are going to keep it out of the sun. Obviously, it is dehydrated vegetation, which does have mold. It's going to mold at some point, but at least it'll all be safe in here. So, whew, mark one more little thing off my list that, it feels so good to finally find something and to just complete something. You've got to know the meaning. I know I'm not alone in this. So it'll be another, maybe I'll get it done today. It'll be one of those really quick little things that takes me like maybe 5 minutes. I'm going to coil the Miley Lay, put it in here, and then I'm going to reset the frame and kind of make it look all normal again. I have some pieces of art from when I was in college, and maybe I'll put one of those larger pieces in that frame because I think it would truly fit. But we'll see. Again, I feel like this is a super art heavy vlog, which is really cool. And those are some amazing finds that I found recently at the thrift store yesterday. I went to an estate sale last weekend and I found a couple things, and I did a good deed for these people, and let me just tell you all about it. A few blocks away, there was a woman who had passed, and her family was up in town from Tennessee. They're not from the area, they're not very familiar with the area, and I was at work on Friday when Max's mom texted me letting me know there was an estate sale on their street, and I was really surprised to learn of this estate sale because it wasn't indicated as happening on my estatesales.net website that I always keep an eye out for the local estate sales and garage sales and auctions, etc. I'm just going to put it right here on the screen so that you will know what I'm talking about and you can find some too. Cool website. Anyways, I digress. So fast forward to Saturday and I'm like, okay, I've got a show this weekend. I am going to just run over to the estate sale. Maybe there's some gems. You really never know what you're going to find. So I pick up Max's dad and we go to this estate sale. And honestly, it was very bare. There wasn't a lot of things there. The family had already kept what they wanted and reallocated individual pieces to people that needed and wanted things. There was a dumpster in the front yard, and I was surprised that there was only a yard sign, estate sale sign at the end of 2 major streets in our town, and that was it. Speaking with the family that was there running the estate sale, it was Friday, and they had to have everything cleared from the house by Monday. That's 3 days to clear an entire house for the remainder of the items. The home was already sold, and the new landlord was going to be taking over at that time and really wanted everything out and cleaned in time for the start of the month. So when I questioned them why they didn't put anything on estatesales.net, they said they had never heard of it. So they were an older couple who just weren't from the area. They're from down south, and I felt for them. You know, my family's been in that situation where we had to take care of a family member's who's passed state, and we unfortunately, due to time constraints, just had to move things very quickly. And we really heavily relied on the neighbors and like the locals to learn where is the best place to sell things or just kind of get the word out and everything. Nothing's ever happened in 3 days though, and I honestly felt for these people. I really tried to set them up on estatesales.net, and unfortunately, estatesales.net charges quite a bit for a listing. I learned that the hard way. It was like $99 just to list an estate sale, which makes sense if, you know, you had 2-3 weeks to advertise, take photos, talk about it, get the word out, etc. And they really had just all of Friday and Saturday. So I really, really wanted to make sure that they had the best opportunity to sell the most. So I actually went around and I took pictures of the items for sale on the estate, and I put it on our local Facebook pages for the town, and it seemed to get a lot of engagement and attraction, and I really hope that they were able to move things quickly. It was really hard to see people in that situation. Everything was priced to sell, and it was very obvious that they were just really concerned about having to move things themselves. They were an older couple, so they didn't want to have to hire people because they really just wanted to make sure that everything was taken care of at the most cost-effective manner, and I completely understood that. So I was able to root around the house, and I found two beautiful pieces. I have them right here. So this is actually a set. So here's the first one. Yes, this is a Japanese silk painting. These were very popular in the 60s, and I do believe this is from the 60s. A lot of people who were stationed overseas, the family member told me that the husband of the woman who had passed was actually in the military, and he did a lot of time in Okinawa, so he brought these back as souvenirs. And this was actually a very common thing back then. You'd usually bring back jewelry boxes, they'd have these souvenir silk paintings, they would have specific pieces of china, maybe even like silk robes. I have one of those too in my collection. Yeah, I love the vibrant colors of this so much. This is the nighttime or sunset one. And then here's the daytime one. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the colors. I love how bright they are. Decent size. They're not like terribly large. I would have loved to have them a little bit bigger, but that's okay. So the colors are so beautiful and vibrant. And it's all silk. It's hand painted and amazing. Sorry about the glare. So I initially purchased these, honestly, with intention to hang them up in here in my dressing room. As you can see, I have very bright colors in here, and I like more bold pieces for sure. However, when I put them on the dining room table, I was really struck by how well they worked in our dining room. And I was like, oh shoot, so kind of lived with them for a couple weeks, just kind of like on the dining room table, figuring out where I would put them there. And then today I brought them in the dressing room after I had already hung up the piece of art in our bedroom, thinking, okay, I'm on a roll. How many more holes can I drill in the wall? And then I realized, you know, as much as I love the colors in here and they're so pretty and beautiful, they really do work well in our dining room. So that's where they're gonna go. And they're gonna go right next to our big picture window, so that right as when we enter the dining room from the outside, you'll be able to see them. And hopefully, yeah, it brings in the blue in this one area of the day. It works well together, and I'm really pleased. So I'm definitely gonna hang these up, and yeah, we'll finally have art on the walls. So I took my time. I went around the house and I took photographs, and I just kind of made sure all of the information was correct, and made a listing for this estate sale for the couple. And as a token of their affection and gratitude, they graciously gifted me this gorgeous bud vase, because I told her that I love flowers, and I'm obsessed with like cuttings and stuff like that. So I think it's Murano glass. I'm not super sure. So here's the thing. Sometimes you can actually find a gorgeous replica, right? Like I think of Home Goods, those glass shelf area, which I'm terrified to walk through because I'm afraid I'm just gonna like knock something over and stuff's gonna shatter. It's just gonna be awful. So I'm an adult and I avoid that area. But how beautiful is this? And she honestly, the woman who lived there, had some beautiful pieces. So it wouldn't surprise me if this was not Murano. But of course, I don't mind so much what it is. It's just what it represents, which was a token of gratitude. And it does live here in my dressing room. I have it up in the nook for my wardrobe area over there, or I can put it on my desk, but it was such a sweet gesture. I love it, and I will always have it as a memory of them, and I hope they're doing well, and I hope everything went through. I haven't given him a call or anything, but if you're watching, I really hope everything went good and smooth according to plan and can go forward. That was all the cool stuff that I found and was gifted and kind of how I acquired things recently. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go and hang these paintings up in the dining room, and then I want to put Max's lei in here, and I want to redo that piece of art, or the frame, and kind of cue it for some artwork. Cause yeah, it's been like laying true story. That's literally been laying here for probably 3 weeks now. And I'm tired of walking around it. I need to get access. This is like my sport wardrobe over here. And by sport, I mean like t-shirts, hoodies, of which I found out I have 28 hoodies. Why? Why? So anyways, I need access to this because of my day job. I'm a jeans and t-shirt girl. So I'm gonna quit chatting and I'm gonna actually get things done, take you with me, and then we can see how everything looks together, before and afters. I love that kind of thing, right? Getting things done and completing things is amazing. Like, what a great weekend. And I don't have to cook tonight. Epic. I don't know about you guys, but to me, nothing says like you're done for the day like putting a hole through the wall. Yes, I literally just put the hole through the wall in the dining room, so I think I'm gonna end the vlog here now. I'm gonna go patch up the hole and we're gonna go to dinner. So that's it. Thank you so much for following along and for hanging out this long. I know it's a long one, but I hope you had as much fun as I did, and I will see you